Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you see what's going on on our lovely little island of Fawnhollow today, as we go about our usual business. Of course, today being Saturday, meaning today's Saturday. Yeah, today's Saturday. For a second I was like, wait, is it Sunday or Saturday? Yes, being Saturday, we have KK cider visiting, so it'll just be our usual business of vibing out on Animal Crossing and talking about whatever we want. What I've been up to, not really much, just kind of vibing, drawing a bit, playing some games. Mainly playing games today. I mean, it's the weekend. I do what I want. Well, not really what I want. I just felt like playing some games. And hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 3:30 PM on Saturday, June 12th, 2021. Now for today's announcements, must be a visitor at a snack campsite. Woo! So you know who we're hoping for? Biscuit. Who are we hoping for? Biscuit, Fawn, Apollo, and Phoebe. As a potential for. Just watched a video of some guy in China just building an entire house out of a cave, which is absurd, to say the least. Dear, you're the best. What are you up to right now? Something fun, I bet. You always have the greatest ideas. So I was thinking of you, and I guess I'm writing to ask you if we can plan to do something together soon. Yours truly, Lily. I absolutely would love to, Lily, if the mechanics of the game allowed me to do literally anything. I'm joking. It's not an Animal Crossing episode if I don't start out by being like, please Nintendo, give us updates. Actually, is Nintendo free today, or is it? It might be Tuesday, I can't remember. It's either today or Tuesday. You know? Why talk about it and spread false information? Why I could just look at a recap now. E3 Recap 2021. Actually, a fantastic website built by, I don't know who built it, but it's very, very good. So was summer conference schedule? No, don't play the stream. It's Gorilla Collective 2. Oh, the Wholesome Direct at 6 PM. I gotta watch out. Oh, Fang? No, not Fang. You're like Dobo or something. Dobby, that's it. Dobby. When is the Nintendo one? Take-Two Interactive. June 15th. That is next Tuesday. This is why I had today in mind, is because a Wholesome Direct is at 6 PM, which I'm absolutely going to watch if I can remember to. But yeah, I haven't really done much apart from that. Hopefully we'll get some Animal Crossing updates on the Tuesday thing, but if not, then, you know, so be it. I can play this game forever, because really, me playing this game is just me talking. So yeah, I watched this, like 15, well, I didn't watch the entire 15 minutes. I watched like 10 minutes of it and I skipped forward to the end. Video of a guy in China. He just built like this entire, he like carved out this entire house in his small remote hometown village. Somewhere in China. I didn't actually, I think it said in the video, but I don't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately. Just take a random picture, sure, I don't know, zoom out. Why not? And it's just a remarkable display of talent. Of course, maybe he didn't do everything perfectly. And me, when I was watching, I was being like, man, this is dangerous, isn't it? Like, how do you know that? I mean, obviously, he's someone who's like a professional contractor for like a building company, or had his own building company. I don't really know. Can't remember. So he probably knows about these sort of regulations. But I was like, man, I really, really hope he checked out it's safe to build it in this sort of cave and everything's up to code. But, oh no, Woody, you're ill. Don't worry, we'll get you something. Because that was the only thing I could really think about. I was just like, that seems dangerous, but you know, you'll know better than me, so I'm not going to judge. And when I read Reddit comments, and everyone in Reddit was just like, oh, can't believe he built it, but it's going to like build up moisture and everything, which, you know, by all accounts, they're probably right. It's just like, you know, I thought, I was just being impressed by the like sheer display of talent, right, he's put on, and I'm not here to really disparage against people on Reddit who probably know better than I do in the first place, so, you know, let's not, you know, stop spreading all this negative hate. Me. Not you, not Invisible Strawman this time. You got away with it this time. No, I was just impressed with the immense amount of display he put on, because, you know, when you have that sort of mastery over anything, I guess it's sort of not like it's second nature to you, but you've been through all the hoops and processes. If you don't know something, you just like look it up. Like, I always just like think back, like make associations. Like if I'm drawing something, I'm not like the best drawer in the world, or if I'm like programming something, but I can do reasonably well. And if I don't know something, I can just easily like look it up, and because I've got experience in that field, I can sort of understand the concepts as I look it up, and, you know, progress further with that. But it still sort of blows me away when it's a field that I have basically very little experience in this case being a construction work, I suppose. Like, I mean, I can assemble IKEA furniture fine. My parents used to do a lot of DIY, and I helped out sparingly. Not much, because, you know, they're kind of doing most of it, to be honest, but I'll help out if they need like an extra pair of hands. But I'm not going to take credit for that sort of thing. So basically, my construction knowledge is kind of like not zero. More like, if it's a scale of 1 to 100, I'm going to put it at like 5 or something. I like know the names, but I can't build a birdhouse. I can't assemble anything probably. I can make origami, but that's like not normally what people have in mind when they come with construction. Normally you want something a bit sturdier than paper when it comes to, say, building your house or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know how to install a window. I don't know any of this stuff. But I don't know what the bat was. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying it's just incredibly impressive every single time I see sort of things like this, you know, like obviously this guy in China. I think primitive technologies is a big one that a lot of people do watch. If you don't know what that is, there's a YouTube channel where some guy, he's just like vibing in the woods, and then he just builds like these magnificent, okay man, if I say magnificent you're gonna make it think like it's a huge mansion or something here. No, he builds these really cool like primitive huts, like wooden huts with, or like well, I mean, I suppose it's in the title, a primitive technology sort of thing, just using, you know, like raw materials that he finds in the woods and tools that he's made himself. Basically like I suppose very early humans, civilizations of that sort of thing, like cavemen, maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on any of those time periods in ancient history, because I do not know. But seeing like his mastery over everything, and just seeing how he manages to just perfectly create these things seemingly nothingness, like you got to admire the craft. As I say all the time, I do love watching someone skilled at their craft, a master in their works, just be able to create something just like that, and, you know, sort of flex on my abilities a little bit, you know. It's always very relaxing to watch, because it's sort of like you get the dopamine hit of being like, oh, they're creating something and I'm sort of here with them, but you don't have to put in that investment of learning the trade skills yourself to actually get it done. It's just super impressive. Like, and I know it's a bit of a cliche thing that people always say. It's like, I don't think I could ever do that, or I don't even know how you'd begin to do something like that. These are really expensive. Paintball mask? I don't know. Oh, this is cool. I don't even know what that is. It looks like a sort of geisha sort of hat. Why don't we also buy? I'm trying to think of something we probably don't have. Probably don't have this. What was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, the flexing on skills, it was impressive to watch, and oh yeah, no, it was a bit cliche to just be like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Well, I mean, if I devoted as much time as he might have, I might be able to understand at least how we did that, but I'm not going to say I'm going to be able to do it, because I don't know what my talents, I don't think my talents necessarily lie within DIY skills, but maybe they do. But if I invested huge amounts of my time, which I invested in other things, into that sort of craft, maybe I could, not maybe do it as well as him, let's not be that boastful, but at least like understand it and be able to follow along and see how he does it. Is that, well, that sort of thing. But still, the fact that I haven't in the first place just leaves you in a bit of wonder, a bit of awe, where you're like, whoa, that's crazy. He just took a massive rock and then somehow made a house out of it, and a pretty cool looking house as well. I mean, you might then raise the question, would you want to live in one of these like sort of cave houses, or these primitive technology houses? Me, absolutely not. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I would absolutely dislike living in one of those sort of houses. And I like modern technology. I think modern technology is good. The only, you know, the downside of like fossil fuel emissions and that sort of thing. But the idea of technology, electricity, is a modern day convenience, which is something which is often taken for granted, I will say. But I feel like I don't take it for granted. I'm like very appreciative of what we have available at our disposal, and what we have access to in modern society. Of course, there's always downsides, but there's always upsides and downsides. So yeah, me myself probably wouldn't want to live in one of those sort of things. It's like people who live in, like, I saw this other video recently of this woman who like she bought like a camper van and had it like super remodeled into like a living house. Oh, this is what your house looks like, Claude. It looks really nice. It actually looks like a reasonable house. You love your manga though. May I recommend you Beastars? It's a pretty good manga. And honestly, your place is pretty tidy compared to Jakey's, which is literally not a landmine, sorry, a landfill. Yeah, so I wouldn't really want to live one of those cave houses, but more power to them. Like that mobile RV house that woman made. I can't remember where she's probably somewhere in America. I don't recall off the top of my head. it was really cool. It was really impressive, and I do like the concept of a cozy little house where you just like, oh, you're just here, you know, this is like my dinner table. You just like step to the right, is your bed. Is your bed and bedroom. Above that, you got a little bit of storage space. You lift up the bed, you got more storage space, and that sort of thing. I like the concept of a coziness of it. I just wouldn't want to live in one of those houses, and I think the main reason is probably like the sewage system. The modern day sewage system is phenomenal, supremely underappreciated. I think, in a lot of different aspects. It's like it's one of the greatest things is being able to separate waste from you know, the stuff you don't want waste near. And there's a technology which, you know, there's a lot more that goes into it, and you might imagine like there's the whole like building plans, and sorry, not building plans, or building plans, yes, but city plans is what I meant, of like all these sewage pipes and canals, and not canals. Well, I mean canals is a bit more of an artistic word, what I meant, but and systems in them to like make sure they're diverted out of the way. People aren't like going to be bothered by them. They're working properly. They can't get clogged, and you've got to balance of cost, of efficiency, of that sort of thing. It's absurd, to say the least, but it's super good, and you know, hygiene and that sort of thing is super high on my list of things which are important to me, and cleanliness. And you know, I dislike the idea of having basically just have a porta potty in my house instead of just, you know, like a sewage system to like flush it away, to get treated into like a waste treatment facility. I don't really know what they're called, but that sort of thing. And you might say, that's a really arbitrary thing to, you know, not want to move into a camper van. You seem pretty okay with all the other things. Like, yeah, you're okay with the small spaces, absolutely. You're okay with, like, you know, I guess having a mobile home, perfectly fine. Not a lot of space to yourself, yeah. Having a rustic feel, yeah, sure. Not necessarily being connected up to the grid, the electrical grid 24/7, perfectly fine. It's just that and the water, you know. Like, I saw the shower she has. She basically has equivalent of what I assume is like it's not actually a garden hose, but it's kind of like in my very narrow-minded view, I suppose, it looks like a garden hose basically with like a spray nozzle attachment, and use that to shower yourself in this like tiny little cupboard, you know. I gotta say, I like my bathroom as it is, as a well, it's not like spacious, but it's like at least a room and that sort of thing, with connected up to the water system and the pipes in the house, which are being dealt with by people much smarter than I am, and who know about that sort of thing rather than me, you know. I suppose that's the thing as well. You have to deal with everything yourself. You know, you got something wrong. It's kind of like, okay. Also, another thing, which is also the longevity. Like, a house can stand for like many hundreds of years, provided it was has a good foundation of that sort of thing. You know, as often they do in UK with the brick laid foundation and that sort of thing, compared to like the drywall that we got in America, which is much more of a temporary business. Which is why I'm not sure if that's exactly why, but which is why I assume UK has a huge amount of old houses, but also, you know, UK is, I suppose, a bit of an old country in some aspects. Well, that's not necessarily true. But anyway, that's not really what I was going for. I also forgot what I was looking at. Tall lantern, iron wall rack. I don't even know what a tall lantern is. So let's just focus on that. So hold that thought for now as we try and find, excuse me, either of these items, because I can't remember what these are. What the heck's a tall lantern? Is this an iron wall rack? That's an iron wall rack. Oh, we can make that. Sure. Screw tall lantern. What else do we need to do? Okay. Not much. So we'll catch some bugs as well as we walk over the road. So yeah, another thing is, yeah, the longevity. But if you make up like your trailer van, house, that sort of thing, there's gonna be a certain point, maybe within, you have like max, what, 30 years or something in that trailer van before, you know, the miles start to add up and that sort of thing. That's like, we're very conservative driving, I'd imagine. So let me just close my window. Oh, thought I knocked something over back then. You don't have many years compared to a house, which, you know, can last you for your entire life if you so desire. Or that sort of thing, which, you know, like, maybe it's a bit, not short-sighted necessarily, but ambitious for me to be thinking like 30 years down the line, but you kind of got to think of it. IMO. It's important to take these long-term considerations in mind. These long-term, not goals, but prospects and like these knock-on effects of that sort of thing. So like, because once the van is basically defunct and can't drive anywhere, you kind of lost the big benefit of your home. Is it's no longer mobile, it's now literally stationary. So you're basically living in, I suppose, a trailer van which is stuck to the ground, so you're living in like the tiniest house in existence. And also, I guess it's probably not road legal at that point, so you can't even tow it around. I don't really know how it works. Well, at least a house, you've got some sort of security with it, barring, you know, extraneous, like, natural disasters or something occurring. The house is going to stay standing for quite a while. And, oh, you know what I should have said? Unless the big bad wolf comes along. Sorry, my words are, like, slurring into each other a lot much. Quite a lot. I don't mean to, it's just like, my brain is going faster than my mouth can keep up with right now. Hydrate, have a sip of water, that sort of thing. I know, and I guess I like the idea of permanence, even though a house obviously is much more, considerably more expensive, mind you, than a trailer van, or any sort of van sort of thing. It's just like, I don't know, I guess it would be like, I'd want both the security of a stable, stationary home, as well as maybe like, if you go on holidays, you can have like a camper van. Yeah, I just want a camper van, I guess. I don't really want I don't want a permanent van home. But if you do, more power to you, you know? You know what, well, maybe you don't necessarily, but a lot of the times you know what's best for yourself. You can be a better judge of these sort of things than necessarily I am for you. It's just, for me personally, I can see the appeal, but I know it's not a permanent enough solution for me that I'd be comfortable with it the entire time. But I do got to respect the amount of like effort and detail she put into it, you know? She had like books and books apparently of I was gonna say schematics. It's not really the word I wanted, though. I guess it is schematics, maybe, of like designs of the camper van that she wanted to implement, what exactly goes where, down to like the nearest millimeter. That's an eye and attention for detail I must admire. Take another photo, sure. And with that sort of thing, it's just like, wow. You clearly this was clearly like a labour of love. Something that you really had your eye on, you had a good plan for, you set out to do it, and you executed it, and it works. And she looked pretty happy doing that sort of thing, so who am I to judge? I'm not, you know, I mean, I hope I didn't give off like a judgmental feel throughout this entire thing, but I think it's super cool. And it's the same sort of deal with a cave. Like, I wouldn't want to live in a cave necessarily. You might say, hey, it's a stationary home, but yeah, it's also like a stationary home without like a lot of the modern amenities. Like, I mean, it's got electricity, as his one did, I believe. It's got like circuitry and lighting, but it's more like it's again the sewage system, and the implemented electricity. Just something about it is a little bit different when it's inside a cave rather than in a modern home, I suppose. Another thing with a cave, though, I think specifically, but I don't like the idea, was the fact I would hate to touch walls and just get like, you know, because I think he was doing it on like sandstone, which is like a sedimentary stone, so sometimes you can like touch it and brush off, and just like you just like lean your hand on the wall and your hand gets like dirty. It's like, oh no, I need to wash it. I was like, oh, the pipes aren't installed properly, like, because it's a mobile home, like it's reliant on like collecting rainwater or something and using a bucket, and I was like, oh, I've got to use it sparingly because I'd, you know, what if I need to drink some or need to like wash my clothes later this week or something, and it doesn't rain, you know. But that's sort of I just want to open the tap and not think about it, to be honest. But if you do, more power to you. It's cool. As I said, I admire the craftsmanship that he put on display. Both of them, him and her. I mean, they're not like related stories or anything, but the amount of work that went into it was really cool, and it's nice to see the process behind it when he was building it. He had like, it never really occurred to me because like obviously you got to hollow out the space, but it's like how he did it is he used like these diamond boring tubule things to like make holes in the wall like over and over again, sort of like you're pricking the top of like a shortbread or something. I don't know what to do to like, I suppose we take out these like what are they called, like the cylindrical like cross sections, I suppose, of rock, And then that means, one, it breaks it up into smaller pieces, so it's easier to take away from a site. And two, you know, that's how you actually, like, carve out a section. It's not like you go out with a chisel or like a jackhammer, I suppose, and just, like, roughly attack the entire thing, which I suppose you could do. But, it's not how he did it. I probably stops going away with these bugs, eh? Just need to catch one more, I believe. And we will be good. And it didn't really occur to me that, while you're doing... Why was I sprinting? I don't know. But while you're doing it, if you cut up like a large piece of rock, you can't just like take it away, because he was doing it by himself. Like obviously, if you are like on a construction site or something, you just like, you know, get in the, what are they called? Not forklift. The diggy things. What are they called? I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about. There's big construction machines to like lift the rocks out or whatever, and you'll be good. Obviously, he's like in some remote Chinese village. Well, he's not going to have access to that sort of thing, or probably can't even get access to that sort of thing. So he has to like break them up into smaller pieces and like take them out himself. What he used was like boring cylinders things as like wheels he put on the ground, and he put like big rocks onto them to like roll them out of a room. And I was like, oh, that's really creative and resourceful. Two things I can certainly appreciate. Okay, we need one more insect. Two things I can very, very much appreciate. But yeah, it was just super cool to see the process behind it. I mean, I guess it's always kind of cool to see the process behind it, which is probably why my art time lapses tend to do rather well. People like to see the creation process of me doing the thumbnail. By the way, going to be drawing another art time lapse today. What's it going to be? Probably Little Nightmares. Because I was looking at which one I need to do first, and I think Little Nightmares is before the other one, before Bug Snacks. And Little Nightmares, I have a better idea. I'm keeping my thumbnails art simple. Like, this is a bit of meta talk. I've learned from them, it is a lot better. Like, before I wanted to recreate the whole scenes and that sort of thing, it's a lot better just to keep it simpler, because when they're really that tiny, you can't see all that much of the details, and you really want... My focus is obviously on Dear the character, for her to stand out in it, so, you know, that's where the focus goes, you know? And so I feel like making them is getting faster and faster, which is good. Honestly, it's a very good thing. Because I don't want to spend like huge amounts of time, because I've got obviously other things to do in my life. So, you know, if I can knock them out just like in a few hours of that sort of thing, perfect. More time to do other stuff. If I can't, then, you know, gone are the days of spending 16 hours or whatever on like a special thumbnail art, or maybe, I don't know. It's a case by case basis, but you're not really interested in that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, construction products like DIY things are always really cool. I'm not sure if it's a sort of thing... Like, I'm not, like, the person to be like, oh, I want to do, like, an extension to my house. I want to build, like, a garage, a greenhouse, or that sort of thing. I don't like these huge macro projects. I like these, like, small micro projects. Like, I think it'd be cool to, like, design a little mechanism for something like that. I can't even think of something right now, which is how difficult it is for me to... Like, you know, like, birdhouses, you know, like... Create like an ornate looking birdhouse, you know, stick it up in the garden, that sort of thing. How about like a table, maybe, at the most? Oh, you know what, if I was good at construction, that sort of thing, and no, crafting things, like my Animal Crossing character, I guess I would want to make one of those super cool D&D tables I always see, where people, they got like a big screen in the middle, everyone's got like a little like tray section, where they could put like their notes and their dice and that sort of thing, and it's like they're super cool. Super impressive every time I see it. Obviously, you know, we're not even playing D&D right now, so it's unneeded, and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a D&D campaign, it's gonna be super fun, it's gonna be awesome, everyone's gonna have a great time, and it's like, oh, you actually need to write stuff and, you know, do stuff for it. And I'm like, no. I do like doing it. It's just like there's a lot of things going on. And I'm the sort of person who likes to be very prepared for that sort of thing, so I'm not too competent in my skills at improvisation. But certainly I think I've gotten a lot better at improvisation. Certainly thanks to doing YouTube videos every single day. But with my improvisation skills, I'm like, I want to make sure everything's prepared. I know like every in and out of the city. I guess my greatest worry will be it's not fun, because that's the whole point of it, you know? You want to do those things because it's fun. But, you know, practice makes perfect. And a lot of fun is created through a group having fun together, rather than necessarily interacting with the direct media property itself. You know, you can't do it just be like, oh, I'm going to be like Matt Mercer or Matt Colville, or I don't know any other DMs. Those are the only two I know. So I'm not as integrated into a DM. I guess it's more like online DM scheme. Sorry, Dungeons and Dragons scene than other people are, but you know, set your expectations to be reasonable. Not lower than they need to be, not higher than they need to be. Perfectly where they are. Just, you know, kind of hard to make that judgment call, isn't it? We're nearly back up to 10 million bells, basically. Just by doing absolutely nothing. Just passively earning money. Not through interest, mind you. Interest rate's terrible in the Nook Bank right now. Seahorse, diving beetle. Drowsy. These are all really annoying ones to do. Diving beetle might be plausible if we can see one. Seahorse, I guess. Could do. Not gonna make another hot item. Is that a diving beetle? I thought I saw a diving beetle. I was like, what a coinky dink. But yeah, those sort of construction things, very impressive. They're always really fun to watch, you know, time-lapse processes. Akin to those sort of, I was gonna say category. Category's not the right word. Whatever word is, like, construction things. Especially because it's something I'm not particularly knowledgeable about, so I can sort of, like, watch it in amazement and wonder, be like, whoa, cool. Rather than being like, oh, you know, having to come at it, well, not having to come at it, but, like, coming at it from a much more analytical sense, like, especially with art time-lapses. I'm like, oh, interesting, that's how they do their coloration. It's like, oh, and then they do everything on one layer rather than spreading it out multiple layers. Like, you know, yeah, interesting, you know. Maybe I should try something like that. It's like, oh, cool. I wonder what effect they use of that. Or like, oh, I like that brush. Which, you know, is good in its own way, but it's not sort of like, that's a pond skater. Get out of here, pond skater. It's not sort of like, switch your brain off and just enjoy it. With a spectacle, you know, like you're watching a fireworks show, you know, you just want to relax, watch it, and be like, absorbed in its mesmerizing colours and patterns. It's sort of just like, it's an appreciation in a different way, I suppose is what I mean. And I have an appreciation for having an appreciation in different ways and necessarily the same way as for something that I have more experience in, you know? Does that make sense? I don't know if that really makes sense. I guess it's more like I can't switch off a part of my brain, which is just like, oh, I gotta learn all I can from this when watching someone better than me in a hobby or something similar that I do like. Yeah, I guess that's really it. But with like construction about something, I'm like, you know, I don't know anything about it. So just seeing it is just like, ooh, cool. I think we should just round this episode of here. I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're going to be able to get these other these other missions. But that's pretty cool. I think that was a nice thing to talk about. I felt like I had, for some reason, a lot to say about the topic. It's always a wonder how many things I've got to say about every single topic, but, you know, that's the beauty of it. If you've made it this far, that's amazing, you know. Say hi to me in the comments, and I'll say hi back, probably. But if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, all greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord down below, or follow me on Twitter. I hope we can see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.